Hello, 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 and welcome to the Crew Podcast. I am the visionary Queen Angela, and welcome to Season 2. I want to thank you for tuning in and for all of your support throughout Season 1. We're back, them Divas of the Airwaves. So thank you for joining us tonight. Share this with someone in your circle.
At Wings of Transformation Publishing, we are committed to helping our authors reach their goals and pursue their dreams of becoming published authors. We work closely with each author to ensure a successful publishing experience, and we are dedicated to helping them tell their stories in the most meaningful and impactful ways. We look forward to putting you on the path to writing your book.
Let's talk about it with your host, Shanette Johnson. Join me every first and third Monday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and let's talk about it. Good evening, and thank you for joining me on this evening. On tonight's episode of Let's Talk About It, I will be joined the by Angela Thomas, Angela Thomas. She's the co-founder of the Free Texas campaign. She also is the visionary of the podcast. She's also our author. Also will be joining us is Cornell. He's currently incarcerated in Texas. He's been incarcerated for the past 33 years on a wrongful conviction. So let's sit back, grab your favorite drink, and let's talk. Welcome, Angela. Angela, are you there?
It didn't want me to come on. It didn't want me to come on, but yeah, I'm here. It's always something. It's always something. But I tell you, whenever you're about his business, the enemy's
Yes.
always busy.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. Again, I thank you
You're
for
welcome.
being the host of this show and bringing awareness
You're
to
welcome.
injustice that is taking place all over the United States, especially for bringing awareness to what's happening with your husband and allowing me to come on and share what's happening in the great old state of Texas.
What's going
So
on
thank you
over
for
there?
having me. What's not going on? I tell you, I probably could write about 20 books about what is going on in the state of Texas. Everybody that follow me know that I go hard about the state of Texas. I don't know how I got caught up with the state of Texas, but now I am involved, and I can't let it go because for the likes of me, I can't sit by and see something that needs to be done and not do something about
Right,
it. And I don't know how the people
right,
in the state of Texas live with themselves. I don't know how they sleep at night with the things that is taking place. There are so many people that are wrongfully and overly incarcerated in the state of Texas. And then what is taking place within the TDCJ, within these facilities, is unhumane and it's just downright outrageous. But I thank God for the God that I serve. He is
yes,
amazing,
yes,
and He is yet unturning things, bringing things to light, And it may not be moving as fast as some of us want it to move, but God's timing is always on time. And sometimes we have to go through
Always.
some things in order for God to get some things together and to get some things right. Wow. So
Exactly.
yeah, I am wow. Young lady say her nephew's been incarcerated since he was 14 years old, guilty by
Wow.
association, and he's 40. He's in his 40s. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of what I've been hearing, especially with the cases that I hear in TDCJ. Um, Parnell is on.
Is he
He
there?
has been incarcerated for the last 33 years, wrongfully incarcerated. And he can like tell you a lot of things that have been going on within TDCJ, within the judicial system. There is so much corruption in the state of Texas. It's just insane. Like I don't see for the likes of me. I listen to a lot of these cases, and I hear people talk about their cases, and I'm like, some of this stuff that people are locked up for, if they were in another state,
Don't make
they
no
would have got
sense.
probation. They would have gotten um, probably house arrest or weekend time or something where their lives wouldn't been so um, erupted and so
Right.
disrupted. I
And and
listened
and
to
and then also color. The
oh yeah.
the color of their skin plays to me it seems like it plays a part of the conviction as well.
Well, we're gonna go back to we have to go back to slavery. It was just a transition from slavery until people realize that and understand that it was just another form of slavery. And if you follow the paper trail, you follow these trails, you follow these things, it's all gonna lead back to it's gonna lead back to slavery. You talk about the 13th
Yeah.
Amendment, the clause that they have in there that prisoners, the servitude, the free servitude for if you break the law, if you become
Yeah.
a then they can require you to work to pay off your to pay off your debt to society or whatever, which is just another form of slavery. And then you look at the amount of people that are incarcerated and the numbers. You look at the numbers. You look at who is behind these prison
I,
walls. And you look at
right. I've
the
seen the numbers.
and
I've
then
seen the
you got to
numbers.
go back to it is something that Patrice said on her show the other night. We talk about education. We talk about you look at how they decide how they build prisons. They're already working on building 31 prisons over the next um what 5 6 years.
Yeah, I
And
know we was talking about
2029,
that.
man, they get
Um,
ready to build prisons that are $1 billion prisons. They talking about building prisons that's going to be ran by robots, prisons that's going to be this. I mean, what they are doing is just it's crazy. It's
it's
just
crazy.
crazy. But there's
But
a
you
lot
know,
that
we
needs to be upon. They put these guys in prison, and then it's like they throw away the key. They wrongfully convict them,
convict them.
they falsify evidence, and they get them in prison, and then they're telling them that they have to use the law. They have to go by this, they have to go by this, they have to be in this, they have to be in that. And then when they do that, then they always coming back with something. And
Exactly.
this is every case that I'm hearing. I'm hearing people say that a judge has said that they shouldn't be incarcerated. They shouldn't be this. They shouldn't be that. That this shouldn't be this and this shouldn't be that. Well, if this is the case, then why won't you get up off your butt? You the judge. Why don't you get up off your butt and go and take it to the person that can do something about
Because
it?
they're not.
If y'all two come together, then y'all can do something about it.
They're not.
So,
They're not. I had a mother tell me because she has a son actually in Denver. when I was out there, a mother came up to me and she told me that the judge that presided over her son's case told him that he would never get out. He gonna make it where he never come home.
And that's what they do. And then they this is what happened to Cornell. This is what has happened to him. And I'm gonna allow him to tell his story because he can't nobody tell it like him. He know it. He's walked it out. He's endured it over the last 33 years. As much as I tell it, I can't tell it like him. Cornell, please share your story, introduce yourself, and tell people about your story.
I can't hear him.
I'm 62 years old. Ma'am?
You can't hear him?
No, I can't hear him.
Okay, let me try to turn this phone up a little bit. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, my name is Cornell Drummer. I was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. I'm 62 years old. I've been incarcerated for the past 33 years from Texas, which is in San Antonio, Texas. I'm currently here for a party to the offense of a murder and a delivery of a controlled substance ransom second. Okay, my convictions are wrongfully obtained for the simple fact that, all of the evidence in this case was fabricated from words say go. My arrest warrant is falsified. My ballistic report is falsified. My is falsified. The gun is falsified. The judge in my case is a white supremacist because all she wants is white jurors on the panel. She don't like blacks on the panel. So I was represented by a former court-appointed district attorney who allowed the courtroom to be closed during trial proceedings. I'm the only African American in the courtroom with 10 white police officers standing behind me in the courtroom in the presence of an all-white jury. That's on the delivery case. I got convicted for that case. I got 55 years. I turned around and took me back to court again 3 months later, and the very same thing happened. In court with another all-white jury with the doors locked between 2 highly publicized capital murder trials. Okay, my judge did not want blacks on the jury, so again, I was represented by around 55. To put this appeal my case. Come to learn that no records ever went to the Court of Appeals to affirm my conviction. Well, since this time now, I have taken it upon myself to do a thorough investigation into my case. But little did I know, my case is a part of an evidence-fixing judge donation, DA favoritism, grand jury racketeering scandal, which is all over the state of Texas. This process has plagued our criminal justice system and has sent innocent people to prison for crimes they didn't commit. And I'm talking about thousands and thousands of innocent men and women right today in prison for crimes they did not commit. Right now, I'm dealing with a situation of a case right now of a guy named Roberto De La Cruz. He was convicted in Houston, Texas now for a crime that he didn't commit. And since this time now, his family has fought hard, just like our families have fought hard to try to get him exonerated for his case. But here in the state of Texas, our state legislators and our Texas representatives and our Texas governors and them, they do not care anything about justice. All they care about now is money. She's absolutely right. This is a slavery state. And because of that, man, there's thousands of us in prison because of the involuntary servitude that being incarcerated is working for free in these prison systems, man, who can't get out. Why? Because here in the state of Texas, we have what you call 1107. And once you raise it one time, you can't file anything else after that. Which means that these people are hiding the evidence and they're denying you. So when you do get the evidence, you can't use it no more. So therefore, you have to stay in prison for the rest of your life. The same process is with the juvenile facilities. They did them the same identical way. These kids have to do 40 years flat because they were framed and convicted as juveniles. So now the state of Texas do not want to do anything to give them any relief. Man, I've been fighting criminal justice system for 40 years now. I've been in prison for the last 3 times now. And all I do do is fight the criminal justice system. But this time, I've learned that the criminal justice system now is nothing but a big old one joint operation. That's what I've learned now. And that's like right now, it's hard for me to get out of prison. I just said that he wants nothing to redeem. So
that's unbelievable. Wow. That's unbelievable. First, you had
is on.
jury. He didn't have Cornell said that he didn't have a jury of his peers, and
that's what they do. That's what they have been doing. They bring people. They don't look like you, and what it and the law says that you're supposed to have a jury of your peers. That means people that represent you, people that can connect with you. So if I'm black, then there should be some black people on my jury. If I'm Hispanic, there should be some Hispanic people on my jury. It should not be an all-white jury. No. And that's what they have been doing in the state of Texas. Like the state of Texas have been doing a lot. They have been doing a lot that they should not be doing. For real. And it's sad. They are corrupt, and it start with the governor. It start with him, and it goes down. And this has been going on now 3 to 4 decades. You're heading into a 5th decade, because it's been a long time. This man has been in office for a long time. You're talking about people that have been locked up. Now, man, this ain't no joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke with me. These are people that I deal with on a day-to-day basis that call me, that's locked up in the TDCJ. These people call me and tell me about their cases. Every last one of them, if you listen to their story, it's a pattern. It's a pattern of corruption in the state of Texas. They fabricated evidence. They've allowed witnesses to lie. They have perjured. They've done all kind of stuff. And then you bring it up. You bring it before them. Then they want to drop the time stamps. They want to say, oh, well, the time is past that. How? If I'm innocent, how do time expire on me being innocent? I'm always going to be, if I'm innocent, I'm always going to be innocent. So it shouldn't be an expiration on me being innocent. If I'm innocent and y'all put me in prison and I'm innocent, then y'all should be setting me free. My thing is, if y'all got these people up here, y'all say y'all couldn't do nothing, y'all couldn't reverse the charges, y'all couldn't do nothing. Okay, so now you got them in prison. You can't reverse the charges, but you can let them go home. You can parole them out. You can let these people out.
No, they don't want them to go home,
but they don't want to. They don't want to admit that they have wronged people. That's the issue. Pride. And then they thinking they gonna miss out on money, because if you look at it, I'm in all these different little groups. You look at it. Follow the money trail. Your governor of Texas, this man get a kickback of about $55,000 a year from the prison system that goes to his campaign. It is in black and white. I got it on a snapshot. Somebody posted it inside of a group, and I got it. And he's not the only one. You got people that elected officials that are getting money. I'm talking about that. It may not be a whole lot, but they are getting money. And it shouldn't be happening. That is a conflict of interest. How can they be biased when you got your hands in the cookie jar? How can you be biased? How can you be fair?
You can't.
How can you be fair?
Justice ain't blind.
You cannot.
Justice is not blind.
Because
she's looking right there at us.
I'm telling you, I'm writing. I'm in school. Everybody that follow me and support the platform know I'm in school. I'm working on my master's, and I'm taking a leadership and organizational behavior class. And we had to pick an organization to write about and to talk about things that they are failing in, and things that can be fixed and how to fix it, and offer solutions. Man, y'all know I wrote on TDCJ. Yeah, y'all know I wrote on TDCJ and the parole board. Okay, so the first paper, I
Tell
actually
us
turned
about
it
the first
in late.
paper.
I didn't get all of the points, but hey, I made an A. How about that? I made an A on it. So the second one, how about I get all the points? And my teacher told me, he said, you should be a consultant for them. Huh? I should be a consultant for TDCJ. Huh? Figure that. So I'm writing my papers
That's
on
because
them.
you're passionate about it.
Yeah, and and they can't say that these are lies because guess what? Huh? My teacher make us turn in our sources. We have to turn in our sources. We have to turn in our stuff what we do our research from. And baby, they don't play with plagiarism. So guess what? Huh? It's got to be fact. It's got to be fact. I say when
Right.
this when this class is over and done with, I'm about to print this. I'm about to publish these papers, and I'm about to go throw it on the Senate floor. I'm about to here y'all
Oh,
go. Here, this is what y'all
yep.
need. This is what y'all need right here. Because it's no
I
broke
see.
down the parole board, it's no broke down all that foolishness. But see, what has happened is they start out with giving these individuals what you call paid attorneys, public offenders or whatever they call them. They got all kind of names for them, but they give them court appointed attorneys that are corrupt from the beginning. They got something in the pot.
Yep.
They
That's what
corrupt
happened to
from the
my
beginning.
dad.
Yep.
So then when they
Oh,
start off as public defenders,
we have Mr. We
Dela
Mr.
have
Dela
Cruz.
Cruz
Mr.
daughter,
Dela Cruz
Yes, ma'am.
with
that's his
us.
daughter,
Her father is
Irene.
currently incarcerated on a wrongful conviction. He been in there for 26 years. They say he committed a murder. Can you give us
Hmm.
some more insight on that case?
I think one of the biggest things, and I hear y'all talk, and I wonder why things like that happen, because in my dad's case, we have gone through his transcript I don't know how many times. Like a lot of that stuff we've memorized. And I just don't understand how you have people that, are in the court system and they can read this and they see that it's lies and it's not adding up, but yet they choose to ignore it or not even want to give them another trial. My dad, he has been there for 26 years, and from the day that they killed this man, my dad has never known this guy. He's always said the same thing: I don't know him, I didn't see him that day. And so what Baytown Police Department did is they grabbed two informants, which is the same for a lot of these cases. They go pick up these crackheads that have committed crimes, and they get away with them because you know what? They're informants for them. So when they need them, they use them. And this is what happened to my dad. He had two informants, one of them being my ex brother-in-law. And they used them to fabricate a story against my dad. We didn't know about this story until 7 months later. My brother-in-law had signed a statement saying that he was with my father whenever they killed Mr. Jorge Pena. And we didn't find out until 7 months later. And that's because the detectives took a statement from my brother-in-law to my dad, showing him, look here, even your own son-in-law signed a statement saying that you killed this guy. So when we find out about it, we start talking as a family. We start talking to attorneys. And so when they fabricated that case, their story was that my dad had stopped at a little store here in Baytown and shot the guy one time in the face. There was no altercation. My dad basically went up to this guy that he didn't even know and just shot him in the face. And so when that happened, it just conveniently happened that my ex brother-in-law fainted, and the other guy lifted up this man that was probably 260, 270 pounds, put him in my dad's car, and they went and dumped him in a secluded area here in Baytown. That area was secluded. Not a lot of people knew about that area. So if you knew where you were going, you were, you knew what you were doing. So whenever they dumped this guy's body out there, per the police department, they dumped the body and they left. Well, the Baytown Police Department's own medical examiner, their medical examiner, contradicted their own story, saying that whenever this man was murdered, where he was murdered, that's where he was, where they found him, that's where he was murdered. That body was never moved. And another thing that contradicted their story was that this man didn't have one gunshot wound. He had two. They shot him with a 357 Magnum in the face, and then when he was on the floor, he shot him again in the head. So another thing about this case is that whenever this man died, he fell face forward and his hand was in his pocket. So whenever they found the body, his hand was still in his pocket. If this body was moved, why was his hand still in his pocket? So that right there was a lie. They lied
Right.
about that. And so we've always, reading the transcript and going through everything, the last person that saw him alive was his actual brother-in-law. His brother-in-law picked him up from, his home and took him to a store to go buy beer. If I'm not mistaken, the Baytown Police Department looked at the cameras. They never saw him go into a store and buy beer. That was a lie. And so supposedly the guy said, I took him to the store to go get beer, dropped him off at home, and went my way. But this man here, his ex brother-in-law or his brother-in-law, he committed suicide 2 years later on Christmas Day with a 357 gun. Like we think it's the same gun. He committed suicide with the murder weapon. And so we asked to bring that gun here to Houston so that we could get that gun tested, and they wouldn't let us get our own independent person to check the gun. They said they would do it. They checked it and they said that it could be the gun, but they weren't going to say that it was. So here we have a murder weapon because this man committed suicide 2 years later. He shot himself, never said anything. And here we think we have a murder weapon, but no one is helping us. Like, no one is, everything is there, but everyone just kind of looks the other way. Like, I don't know. Like, I know my dad is innocent 100%. They know my dad is innocent. We've had, at the end of my dad's trial, the judge that was standing in even said, I cannot believe y'all found this man guilty based on this witness. Like, that's how bad our witness that they had was. This guy's answers were like, I don't know, I don't remember, I don't know. It was just all lies. And so my brother-in-law actually said that he wanted to, go out and support my dad and tell him that he was forced, because my brother-in-law has always said that the Baytown Police Department forced him to sign that statement saying that my sister was going to get deported. She was going to have her baby in Mexico. And when my brother-in-law wanted to go and talk to the district attorney and let her know, that this is what happened, they didn't want to use him anymore. They didn't care to hear about him. They only used the one witness that said that he was with my dad whenever they killed this man, which is a lie. It's a lie, but no one is listening to us.
Did I have a question? When you said the witness, did he identify your father in some type of lineup, or how did they get to the how did your father get involved? That's what I want to know. How did he get identified?
My father was brought in to this case by two detectives, Raul Budd and Renee Hinojosa. Why they picked my dad out, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they just wanted to close the case and they needed someone, and they used these guys to close it because my dad didn't know the guy. I don't know why my dad was picked out from anyone. You know what I mean?
That remind me of similar. That's a similar case like my husband's case. He's currently in Denver, and actually I'm gonna have him come back to the and talk, because we had got a piece of news today that the main detective that was over his case has been arrested for impersonating an officer since he done retired, and he pulled a gun on someone. So now he's facing a felony, some felony charges for that. And they also looking into his cases because falsified, he fabricated some of his cases as well. So it's just all over the state. I hear the same thing with everybody,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we have to speak up. We have to speak up. We have to go, and when our family members are away from us, when they're in that predicament, we have to make sure that they're okay.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, like we just got to make sure is that they're okay. Is your dad is he on the phone, Angela? Can you hear me, Angela?
Yeah. I think he's calling back now.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
he's calling back.
they don't see everything that we go through, like the crying, the suffering. My dad hasn't been in our life for over 26 years. He has so many grandkids that he meets them now, but because we take them, but they don't realize the impact that this has had on our family. Like whenever they arrested my dad, the cops were they and it was crazy because they set up like this sting, and we couldn't find my mom, and the whole time they had her like at another area. And my mom is so scared of the cops now because they were choking her, calling her a bitch. Like it's like they set up this whole thing. So these are cops that are doing this to my mom, and so she's so afraid of cops now with that incident that happened to her. And they don't realize like the impact that this has. And I feel like these are things that we see in a movie that we feel like, oh my God, but we're going through it, and people don't understand how hard it is that you're going through it, and that your dad is innocent and we can't do anything because nobody's listening to us, and seeing him cry, and hearing him today like crying, like that just breaks our heart, because we don't know what to do, let
Yeah,
him go,
how's his
like he's
appeal?
innocent.
Have have he like filed any motions with the courts? How
He
far have he
did.
got?
He,
How far
he,
have he got?
I'm sorry, I can't really hear y'all.
How far have he gotten in the like with his motions? How far did he reach the did he reach the Supreme Court level yet?
If I'm not mistaken, he has reached the highest court and they have denied everything to the point where, like, if I'm not mistaken, like, there's nothing else we can do for my dad.
Wow.
Cornell
Wow.
want to say something, Shanette, and your dad is standing by him if y'all want him to come on. But
Yes,
Cornell
that
want to
was
say something. Go ahead, Cornell. Okay, that's Mr.
I
Dela
can hear
Cruz.
you.
Yes.
I can hear you. That's Mr. Dela Cruz.
Yes, that's my dad.
Yes, that's Mr. Dela Cruz.
Well, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, they want if you wanted to say something. We're talking about your case. So she wanted to bring you on to see if you wanted to say something.
Well, I think, someone thinks that this is my problem, right? But what I say about my case, but I say, right, it's only what I say, but too many years, for innocent, only for their corruption, but the police, but the detective Raúl Vaz, and Raúl Nomosa, and Henry Soggy, and I say innocent, that's all I'm saying. And only what I want, I want out of here, I didn't want someone, 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 my family, I got too many people out there.
You can't hear him?
No, I can barely hear him.
Yeah, I can bet.
I can barely hear him.
Yeah,
Me
they said they
too.
can't hear you.
I kind of understand what he's saying. The last part I heard was that he
He
just
says
wants some type of
he
relief.
wants to come home. He said he wants to
Mm.
come home. He's been in here too many years. He said he wants to see his kids. He said he wants to see his daughter. He wants to see his grandkids. He wants to come
Mhm.
home. And I can hear it
Mhm.
in his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
can
can hear
hear
that.
the tears. I can hear the hurt. I can hear the pain. I can hear it in his
Mhm.
voice. I heard it earlier today. And it's sad. It saddens
Mhm.
me. It make tears come to my heart because these people, they know that these people are innocent. And they have the documentation is in black and white that they people have investigated. People have said, I mean, it's not just one person. People over and over and over are saying the same thing that this man is innocent, but they will not do anything. And the judge, the judge said it. If the judge can say it, then the judge can do something about it. They need to get up but don't
Exactly.
nobody want to go against the next
Exactly.
person. Don't nobody want to go against the next person. So they afraid if they expose this, then they're gonna uncover something else. And then something else is
Mhm.
gonna be uncovered. And then it's gonna just be a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
But sooner or
Mhm.
later it has to come out. Because guess what? You keep brushing it under the rug is gonna start getting high. And eventually,
Higher.
people gonna start tripping over that rug because guess what? It ain't gonna you can brush it under there, but it ain't going nowhere. It's just stacking up and it's just
Right.
getting higher and higher and higher. So eventually,
Mhm.
it's gonna have to come to a resolve. It's gonna have to come to a
You got
nip
to
in the
come
bud.
down.
And guess what?
Yeah.
I'm that nip in the bud because I'm not. I can't do it. I can't sit by and see these innocent people. They've taken these people's lives. What this man is 70 years old. What? What y'all can give him parole. Y'all don't messed
Mhm.
up his life. Let him go home. Y'all saying y'all can't reverse it. Y'all can't go back. Okay, well parole him. Let him go home. You can do that. You got the power to do that. The governor got the power. He can make an executive order and he can send that man home. But see, the
But he
people that
don't.
got the
He
power,
ain't gonna
they
do it.
don't want to.
He's not gonna
Because
do
guess
it.
what? They leading it. They the head of it. They got
Yeah.
man, they got their hands all in it. That
Yep.
Yes.
corrupt governor. Yeah,
Well,
all you
you
got to
Yep.
do
know
is
what?
follow the paper trail. You follow the paper trail.
Yes. Yes. Well, I really thank you, ladies, for joining me on tonight, and Mr. Cornell and Mr. Dela Cruz. My heart goes out to both of you guys, and I'm praying for you guys, and hope we praying that someone is watching this that can help them. You know, we're in election year, people. We elect these judges, the DA, we elect all of them to these offices. They promise us things and they don't follow through. Before you go to them the polls to vote, do your research on these people that we're putting in the office, from the president all the way down, because this is going to affect. This is going to keep on, and it's going to affect the generation that's coming up. It's going to affect them. You're removing the fathers out of the homes, the mothers out of the homes with these false charges. False
Yep.
charges. I looked at the Innocent
Mass
Project.
incarceration. That's what it is. Mass incarceration, just another form of
Yeah.
slavery. I'm not gonna let it go. It's just another form of slavery. These people just found a way that they can do it openly.
Yeah.
And they sit back. They had to come up with something. If they was coming out of slavery, that's if you think about it. Think about it. When slavery was ended and they was holding on, they didn't want to let go. These people were holding on while they was coming up with these plans. That's why they didn't have they was still, people was free and they was still slaves and didn't know they was free. Because guess what? They weren't trying to let you know that you was free, because they was trying to figure out how they can devise a plan to keep you in bondage a little longer. So that's when they was coming up with the welfare. They was coming up with the Section 8. They was coming up with the housing project. They was coming up with all this stuff to devise all of us brown people. Yeah. If you and they didn't care what nationality, if you weren't white, they didn't care nothing about you.
Right.
And you better know the history of these prisons and why these prisons were set up, why they set up prisons, because that's what they was called in the beginning. And then you think about what the purpose of them was for. It was to house runaway slaves. That's what it was for. The house runaway slaves. And then you talk about how they housing these people. They putting these people in warehouses. That's what they're doing. You ask anybody what these prisons look like now. Warehouses. They say we just in a warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing. They just throwing people in there. They not feeding them. They putting them on these steel bunks. They don't even give these people pillows. They don't have pillows. They give you one sheet. They freezing you in the wintertime, burning you up in the summertime. Like these people, you may not even have a life sentence, but they trying to kill you because they're not trying to rehabilitate you. They're not trying to send you home. And it's sad because I get phone calls every day, every other day. I'm getting a phone call or e-message from somebody telling me about something that's going on inside of these prisons. I received phone calls last week. Somebody, a G4 killed the G2. This is happening in the prison system. And do we hear about this? Did you know this happened, Miss Irene? Did you know all this was going on? See, a lot of people didn't even know this was going on. I posted it in a group, and somebody said, "Oh no, I didn't know that happened. That happened." Like I got somebody in the jail building. People not knowing what's going on. You got people overdosing on drugs, and then they move in the body and keep getting high, and then the people in charge, the officers, see this and do nothing about it. You're supposed to report this. Did nothing about it. So you don't want to report it, so I'll report it. And every time somebody call me, every time somebody e-message me, honey, I don't got good at writing letters. I'm gonna be a professional letter writer after a while, because I don't got good at writing letters and sending them in a bulk email. Everybody, and can't nobody say they didn't know, because I copy everybody. I copy everybody. So don't say you didn't know.
Right.
Don't say you didn't know. The warden know. All of them know. So when it hit the fans, can't nobody say they didn't know. I'm telling you,
exactly.
The San Antonio Food Bank donated food to the prisoners. You got officers taking food home, and then what they didn't want to take home, they were giving it to the officers the inmates that worked in the kitchen. And then they was trying to sell it to the other inmates, black market. They was putting it on the black market, causing friction in the prison, instead of providing and maintaining an environment that is safe, and an environment that is calm and peaceful. They causing a hostile environment by keeping these inmates at each other and in competition, and acting like they got nepotism and favoritism going on, because you providing for one set and not providing for the other. That's not fair. And that's causing problems. And then you think about the people that's in there. I interviewed a guy one day. This guy said he was supposed to be doing 4 years, y'all. 4 years. 4 years turned into 50 years. How can you
Ooh.
send somebody to prison for 4 years and then he get a case for something that he didn't even do? Because a riot broke out somewhere. He was at the facility. They gave everybody at the facility, even if you weren't involved. You got a charge. So now he went from 4 years to 50 years. And then you think about all these people that ain't do nothing, that's innocent. Yeah, I'm telling you,
Innocent.
out of all these people that's on this list, I can tell you probably about 5 of them actually said that they did their crime. The rest of these people are innocent. The rest of these people have been wrongfully and overly incarcerated. But how
Wow.
do
Yeah.
these people sleep at night?
Our
They
time is
these elected officials run out here and do what they want. They enjoy their families,
mhm.
and all of these people that are wrongfully and overly incarcerated, they're missing out on milestones. They're missing out on things
Yeah.
that are happening. They're losing loved ones and not getting to say goodbye. It's sad. It's sad
That's it.
that the government can do that,
Yeah.
and there's nothing that we can do about it.
Uh,
Wow. Wow. This has been I really enjoyed our conversation on this evening. Really been an eye opener. What's going on in Texas, and it's just going on everywhere. But everything is fenced to be exposed. Irene, thank you for joining me this evening. And anytime you want to talk, you want to keep your father case out there, you're more than welcome to come back, and we can always talk talk about it. Anything new come up, let us know what's going on. What would you like for the listening audience to do? How can we assist with your dad? Is there a change.org up?
I I would like for for everyone to see our story, and from this, God willing, someone will offer advice. Um, let us know what we can do. Someone can help, pick up my dad's case, like, or just kind of even guide us to what is the next step for us. Because at this point, like, we don't know what to do. We've lost all hope, and we really appreciate y'all exposing this, because we don't know what else to do, and there's a reason why God put us here today,
Right.
so that y'all could, let this go out, and hopefully from this someone can help us, because we don't know what else to do. My dad, if we don't help him, he's going to die in that prison, and he's innocent. And you know I just want him home. I want him, it's time. Like, they've had him in there all this time. They know he's innocent, and they're not helping. So I'm hoping that from this someone will guide us. They'll show us what it is we can do, and we're not going to lose hope. We're never going to lose hope. God is good, and I know that my dad will have his freedom one day.
Yes, he will. We just gonna hold on, and we're gonna be praying for your dad. Miss Angela, it's always a pleasure seeing you and talking with
Yes.
you. And thank you for coming out. Thank you, Mr. Cornell and Mr. Dela Cruz, for joining us. Remember, you guys, it's time for us to vote.
Mhm.
We're going to hold them accountable. We're going to do our research on everyone that's up to vote, because we got our children and our grandchildren to think about. We don't want them
Mhm.
in this situation getting accused of something that they didn't do.
Yep.
Join me here every first and third Monday of the month. Next Monday, I will have Glenn Kemp with me. He's currently incarcerated in Denver. They sentenced him to 192 years on a wrongful conviction.
Wow.
Please join me next week. Remember, speak up, even if your voice gets shaky. Have a blessed night and see you next Monday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Man, this is crazy.
Let's talk about it with your host, Shanette Johnson. Join me every first and third Monday of the month at 8 p.m.